Hey guys, I'm Janet on occasion, and for the light of Sigma! Sorry, I had to. I got Voltmar the Grim. I'm playing Empire against High Elves. This is quite a silly match, truth be told, but I think there's stuff to learn from it, so we're going to do it. And for once, it's actually a match I've played. I know I've been doing a load of community casts recently. I just haven't had the time to play much. Unfortunately, you know, I haven't been well, and so it's been easier just do community casts, especially because you guys have sent me so many, which is awesome. And yeah, continue to do so. It's great to see what you guys are coming up with, you know, different builds and things. It's an absolute pleasure to cast those, so feel free to keep doing that. Anyway, so, front line, swordsman. So, I don't often go swordsman. I can't remember the last time I actually brought any swordsman, but they can do alright against spearmen, and they have shields, so why not, right? Also, it means I can go a little bit wider and make it sort of tournament legal. You can't see it, but I'm doing little air quotes in my hands. You can't see that, but I am, believe me. Anyway, also, spearmen with shields. I have 4 of those, so guarding the rear and the flanks. Obviously, High Elves, you know, tend to be a lot of cavalry and things, probing, so I want to keep my Hammer of the Witches safe, because the Hammer of the Witches is devastating against things like Dragon Princes and the like. Also, I have a Jade Wizard, because I have some expensive units on the board. I want to keep them healed up. Also, I have Shield of, what's it called? No, Flesh to Stone, rather, because that extra armor is great, because High Elves kind of lack armor piercing with a lot of their units. So, Flesh to Stone can really help you shrug off a huge amount of damage. Also, Voltmar the Grim, obviously. I've given him the works. He's got everything. He's just got everything. Yep. So a load of buffs, which is good. So obviously this isn't a huge amount of stuff. Over here, no, this is where a lot of my expense is. I have Demigryphs with Halberds, the Royal Altdorf Gryphites. I love the Terror. Terror's really nice. And just great combat stats with these two. But also, my Warrior Priest is going to buff them too. I have all the stuff on the Warrior Priest as well to help buff everything. And I also have the Scroll of Scrolliness. What's it called? I can't remember. Scroll of Power, that's the one, the minus 90 ability recharge, which is great because it means you use all this stuff, and once it runs out, you hit the scroll and you use it all over again, which is amazing. So you can get that initial engagement really in your favour. And if you've got something like Demigryph Knights that just murder stuff, then they're going to really, really do a lot of work. So anyway, my opponent, we'll get to that. So here you can see his great front line here. He has 2 units of Spearmen and 3 Loathen Seaguard. Seems a bit... yeah. Yeah, here we go. Dragon Princes, Dragon Princes, Dragon Princes, Dragon Princes, Fireborn. Yeah, he's gone all in with the Dragon Princes. Also, he has Alarielle the Radiant. Obviously, huge amount of healing from Alarielle. So, great when you have a very elite army. Alarielle's a perfect choice. And, yeah, it's just, she's here. So that's good. Arcane Unforging, also very useful to, you know, ruin ability recharge and things. Very handy. Yeah, some great spells there. She's very, very useful. And, yeah, she's going to give everyone magic damage, which is pretty cool. So, you know, pretty handy. But giving everything magic damage is great for me because, let's have a quick look here. Grand Soulfire. Boom. And the regular Soulfire as well. Yeah, it adds plus 90% magic resist. So if I can get Voltmar to do that, that means I'm going to shrug off 90% of the damage on anything that's you know, that's in that engagement, and I'm going to do the same with the Warrior Priest, and he can then use the Scroll of Shielding and use it again. So yeah, it's a bad idea. That's going to really screw him over. So here though, one thing is all this stuff completely together, not a good idea. Put a couple of units on one other side, you know, so you can probe more than one direction. It definitely helps, because at the moment he's just one juicy target right now, and this stuff I'm going to ignore for the most part. So, speeding things up. Really, what he should be doing is getting his Loathen Seaguard to go straight for the artillery. Just push straight forward, even if they're right next to the front line. As long as the Spearmen are just in front, he can get a load of damage into the Hammer of the Witches, that at the moment is mulching these Dragon Princes. I've already got rid of about 700 of value. So Voltmar running straight in. So he's got a load of magic resist, and all these guys now have magic damage. Okay, well, those two do at least. So charging in with everything. Load of damage here on both sides, but I'm going to start using Shield of Faith, Hammer of Sigmar, Soulfire, etc. So these Dragon Princes are losing out against the Royal Altdorf Gryphites. Over here, I'm about to use a banishment on these 2 units of Dragon Princes, so I'm moving the Demigryph Knights back. So that banishment is chewing up these 2 units, which is excellent. Over here, Voltmar's fighting all this stuff on his own, but with all that magic resist, fine. He's got regeneration too. He can just sit here and take it. I don't even mind. He's a great anchor. I'm keeping most of his stuff busy. So that's 3 units of Dragon Princes dealt with. And the other unit that tried to get into my front line, I've been shooting at him with the Hammer of the Witches, and now I'm surrounding him. Here, though, these guys could be taking out the Hammer of the Witches. So now I'm moving around. They're getting bogged down. Earth Blood on my guys. I have taken some damage with my halberds, of course, because that's going to add up eventually. And frankly, the Dragonborn are very, very scary. They're going to do a lot of work with that, you know, anti-large and everything. But getting surrounded and load of spearmen in here as well, it's going to help. So another charge from Dragon Princes into me. I'm suffering a fair bit, but huge amount of buffs and things going on here. Firing into the lines again. So the Fireborn are running away. And now my front line is just running into random stuff. So that's pretty great for me. So here, Dragon Prince is once again trying to run into the back. So I'm going to chase him down a bit. I'm going to get the Altdorf Griffites, I believe, to fight a Lariel. At the moment I've got a Warrior Priest fighting her, which is fine. Nope, I'm moving things around a lot. Anyway, they're broken. So now I get someone on a Lariel and start sending other units to chase off what remains. Using the Hammer of the Witches to shoot at the Fireborn. The Fireborn are taking even more damage, which is great. At the moment they only have 2 kills. Not great for the Fireborn, but Voltmar was keeping him busy the whole time. And if we have a look, Voltmar's fine. Voltmar is totally fine. Bit of lag there, not sure what caused that, sorry about that. And yeah, Voltmar, he's fine. He's fine, he's going to run into this front line and do whatever he wants. He's got 100 armor, none of this stuff is particularly armor piercing. And he can just beat these guys up a bit with his chariot, so that's nice. So he's going to sit in there and wail on them, regenerating all the while. So some shots in here, and yeah, Lariel's broken, and I have more, you know, I have more Demigryphs than he has Dragon Princes left, which is never a good place to be in. So that is a close victory. That is a close victory. Don't often get those. Feels good. So, yeah, pretty crazy. So, 32, 41, and 34 kills. 31 for Voltmar. That was basically all the banishment. So, huge value from him, especially because he kept the Fireborn and Lariel busy for ages, taking no damage because of that magic resist. And the Warrior Priest giving more magic resist. Didn't really help on that, you know, outskirt fight, but he was still able to hit a lot. One thing I did do wrong in this is I wasn't able to double up the buffs because I used the scroll too quickly. The scroll, that cooldown, will only work if the thing is on cooldown. If the ability is still active, like it was when I used the scroll, whoops. Yeah, as I clicked it, I was, you know, going, oh no. I rushed, whoops. Anyway, yeah, if it's still active, then it's not on cooldown, and so the scroll won't do anything. So I was only able to get another Grand Soulfire off, I think, because that doesn't last very long. I wasn't able to get the other buffs out of that scroll, which was a bit of a shame. So I did take a little bit more damage than I would have done, but as you can see, I basically had 2 units here wipe out 5 Dragon Princes. So, yeah, you can get a lot of value out of the buffs. And the High Elves being so quick, if he'd split up his units a bit, he could have really screwed me. He could have got on top of the Hammer of the Witches. He could have charged into some of these guys. He could have got the archers on the Hammer of the Witches to shut that down for a start. He could have just sent in the spearmen, kept my front line busy, tried to wrap up some of my spears, avoid the swordsmen. You know, he could have just sent the Dragon Princes into the swordsmen to smash them. Yeah, he should have just ignored the Demigryph Knight as best he could, honestly. And if he did get into a fight he didn't want, he could then wheel another unit around, get a charge into the rear of them and pull out the one that got charged, heal it up, because Alariel can heal so much, and just keep doing that. Try and keep outfoxing me. He had the maneuverability because he had more models, but sending them all into the same units, you're asking for trouble. So there's a lot to learn from this. Don't charge all your stuff into one thing. If you have the mobility advantage, use it. That's the best thing to do. Just send all these guys in different directions, and yeah, don't let any of them get pinned down. I'm pretty sure they're quicker or as quick as the Altdorf Griffites, so just keep out of their way. You know, keep out of their way. Try and throw spearmen at them. Just use the mobility and use these guys as a blockade. You know, once you get rid of the Hammer of the Witches, I have no ranged left, so he can pick and choose his engagements, and that's what he should have done. But slight issues with prioritization here. You know, he had the Loathen Seaguard shooting at Voltmar. Voltmar was taking no damage from anything because of the magic resist, but he had the worst pick there again. He had the Fireborn thinking, there's the anti-large, I get the anti-large on Voltmar. But then he had the magic because he had a Lariel nearby. So it didn't help. He ended up negating the damage he could have done to Voltmar by buffing his units, which seems counterintuitive. So be really careful about adding magic damage, because not a lot of stuff for the Empire relies on physical resist, so having that magic damage aura is a mistake. Don't bring that item against the Empire. You're just asking for trouble, because most people are going to bring, you know, Demigryphs and a Warrior Priest to deal with this kind of stuff. So you're just going to be shooting yourself in the foot. You're going to make it harder to win those engagements, if anything. So I guess that's about it. So guys, if you enjoyed this, please do comment, like, and subscribe, and I hope you learned a few things. Yeah, it was an interesting one. It was a bit bizarre, you know, obviously all in with one tactic. It's good to see. I like that. It's fun, but you've got to make sure you use those resources. You can't think you can strong-arm the Empire when there's, you know, warrior priests and things on the board. So be cautious of that. So yeah, guys, if you enjoyed this, please do comment, like, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Have a good day, guys.